Brian had invited us to dinner, and he brings John Deacon and Roger Taylor. So the four of us are sitting with the three Queen guys having dinner. And that in itself was already, we're having dinner with Queen. This is sick.
Crazy.
So we're at the table talking, and, of course, Freddie had died recently and the whole thing. And that's when they asked us if we would represent Queen and play at Wembley Stadium because they were going to plan a huge send-off for Freddie at Wembley Stadium, and that they didn't have it all together, didn't know who was going to be there, but they were absolutely sure that they wanted us to come in and play with them. And I got to tell you, it was fucking breathtaking. I mean, because, we'd grown up on Queen, and here they are. Like, not only have we played with Brian, and now, like, he's inviting us to do this.
Did it make up for the fact that Freddie didn't come out to your shows?
Well, nothing could make up for the loss of Freddie. But
right answer, Paul. Right answer.
Yeah. But I will tell you that it was such an honor, and we played at Wembley Stadium. It was broadcast live in 80 countries on MTV, and we played to 1 billion people.
Oh my God.
95,000 people in house. Metallica went on before us. It was interesting because the three of the Metallica guys were in Florida when we were recording an album before we played that show, and they came over my apartment because they were just in town. And
so James Hetfield just shows up at your house, like
it was Kirk, James, and Lars. I think I was talking to Lars or whatever it may have been on the phone, and he goes, "Yeah, we're here too. Let's go out and do something. Let's have some drinks or whatever." So they came over to meet us. I don't know what we were doing, around in the kitchen of this little apartment. Hetfield, at the time wasn't as open and friendly with us. I don't know, I don't know what. So he's sitting in the living room. I was sitting at the table, and Lars started heckling, going, "Hey, what the fuck is this in London? You guys are going on after us? How'd you fucking do that?" I remember saying, "I don't know, man. They just called us and told us when we're on. It's nothing we did. It's just, what happened." And he said, "Okay, well, good luck, man." And I remember going, "Oh, fuck yeah." I don't know, and they were this was the height of the Black Album. They were gigantic, and we had now had 3 hits in Europe, in UK particularly, because Get the Funk Out actually happened over there in a way it didn't happen here. And then More Than Words came out and was, gigantic and put us on the top of the pops and playing those shows like there and their version of the Grammys. Then we followed up with the song Wholehearted, which was also a giant hit there. And we were just off giant pop hits. So we were on the BBC, like Radio 1 and shit that, even Metallica at the time was not on, even though they were still more gigantic band worldwide. And
Lars is sitting at home having one of his servants go, "Well, you just wait, Mr. Geary. You'll see. You'll see."
Well, they did show us because there's still a fucking stadium act, and, we're not. So we went out together that night, I remember, and Hetfield, I remember he didn't really know the band very well. And I remember him like really paying attention to Nuno's playing and trying to figure out what he was all about. But anyway, we get to London, we're backstage. I have some of this on videotape. It's kind of fun. And now suddenly Brian gives us a lecture that, like, not a lecture, but a talking to of like, look, we don't have enough dressing rooms in Wembley Stadium for like everyone to be satisfied because the star power was ridiculous. And so
imagine.
we said,
can we drop the names?
Okay, well, in the room, in this very large dressing room area that had offshoot rooms, we had in that room Elton John, David Bowie, George Michael, Queen, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, Extreme. And now you get into
Roger Daltrey. You had Liza Minnelli,
Robert Plant. But the single stars.
Seal.
It was ridiculous. It was everyone you could imagine, and we were like out of our minds that we were in the midst of all that. So
Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath. We forgot Black Sabbath. Right. Oh no, well, Annie Lennox was there.
It was a huge event, and while we were rehearsing for it, we realized, because here's where the magic happened. Brian May. He said to each of the 4 bands, there were 4 basic bands, and everybody else were joining Queen or interacting somehow. There was no other bands. It was Metallica, Extreme, Def Leppard, and Guns N' Roses. Those were the four basic bands that played. And what he did was he sent everyone else's set list because he didn't want us all to play the same Queen songs. Because if we were going to play a Queen song in our set, he wanted us to pick a different song. Everybody was going to play one Queen song. So once we got it and we realized, oh my God, so Metallica is only playing one and it's Stone Cold Crazy. It's not really a vocal song and not really a traditional Queen song, really. I mean, and Def Leppard was playing one. I think it was, We Will Rock You or something, whatever they decided to play.
Basic.
And Guns N' Roses, there was no Queen really. And we were going, oh my God. And the light bulb went off. Gary and Nuno, I want to say, came up with this medley idea. And we hammered it out that we were going to do the career of Queen in 25 minutes. So the idea was I'm going to take clips, 30 seconds of each song, 20 seconds of this one, 30 seconds of that one. And we were going to somehow make it work because all the tempos were different. And we had to somehow smooth it so that it would come up and down where it needed to.
You didn't have your Pro Tools with your click track being piped in?
No, you really couldn't use a click track to that because it was too all over the place. I did use click tracks at the time. I mean, when you're in stadiums, the blowback is so big.
Sure, yeah.
And we decided to do this medley. We get there and now the energy is palpable. This is unbelievable. The whole world's there. There's MTV, all major news networks. You couldn't come out of the dressing rooms of that era without being converged on by the press. I remember even outside the music celebrities, like the Cindy Crawford walks up with a microphone and it's like, Cindy Crawford, what the Metallica plays, the crowd goes wild. They're playing the Black Album songs and they played the one Queen song and it was time for us to go on. And when we came down and we were standing in our on position, we were at the sides of the stage. Brian May walks up and gives us the most unbelievable introduction. And we didn't really know until we were going on what he was going to say. And he went on and he said, these guys are real friends. More than any other group on this planet, the guys that understand what Queen have been about all these years and what Freddie's been about all these years. And then he went on to use our individual names and say, please welcome Paul, Pat, Nuno, Gary, Extreme. And the place lights up. And I got to tell you, at that point, we were playing in arenas and stadiums 4 nights a week. And it was like having breakfast. It was like we were doing it every day. Now I was nervous. I was walking out onto that stage with the coming at, with that many people and the cameras and this concert was being viewed bigger than Live Aid. It was 1 billion people because Live Aid didn't have the technology at the time to reach what we were reaching at that point. And the nerve-wracking part is that we weren't playing our own music. We were playing Queen music and we would
the Queen's fans.
And right. And the 3 members of Queen are on the side of the stage watching us.
No big deal.
Not to mention the other people just coming down to see what it was all about.
Bowie talking to Elton John going, hey, that drummer's kind of cute.
It's all recorded. You can see this. It's really well filmed and you can see the whole thing on YouTube. But we come out on stage. We started the set. The people lit up and we had probably the best set of our lives. We were just dead on. And I think it was because we were so intent on it being dead on. And we were so, you didn't want to be the guy in that band that let the other 3 down. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that much, not now. I mean, this was something, if anything went wrong, you were going to be ridiculed. You know what I mean? Because we were playing Queen and Queen is beloved. And it's so easy to be picked on, like when you're trying to play someone else's music, especially with playing Queen in London right after Freddie's death.
Yeah.
So
no pressure.
It was such a trip. And then we went off and you'll see it in the film. Like when it's over, it was like, wow. We knew that something really historical had just went down.